Monica Villela, a single mom of 4, is holding on to her faith after her house in Green Valley Ranch was sold behind her back by her HOA.
This cost us homeowners an additional $500 per month for 7 months. So the $450 plus $500 plus my mortgage. That's like 2 mortgages.
She was arrested and spent a week in jail for what started out as an HOA complaint over her lawn.
HOAs were supposed to protect property values and keep neighborhoods looking nice. Instead, they've become a nightmare for countless homeowners, slapping people with outrageous fees, nitpicking over the smallest details, and pushing families to their breaking point. In this video, we'll expose how HOAs have turned into cash grabs that leave Americans frustrated, drowning in debt, and even some in jail. This first HOA we're going to look at is so petty, it made my jaw drop.
Here's why I hate HOAs, but the thing is that in Texas, you don't really have a lot of options because most houses are inside HOAs. So we received a letter from the HOA complaining about our landscape rocks, and they're like a light gray, cream kind of color. At first, I thought that it was a mistake. I'm like, there is no way. Roger takes a lot of pride in taking care of our yard. Surely it's a mistake. Then they send another letter. I'm like, no, I think they're serious, but I don't understand. And then they're saying that the rocks are white, but I bought it as light gray. And they've been in my yard for over 3 years. And I'm like, excuse me, what is happening? So they send me you know how they hide all the information that you need in like 700,000 pages? Exactly. But my petty ass better believe that read everything because I'm not about to lose an argument with the HOA. So I read it, and it says that the rocks have to be, listen to this, cream, gray, brown, earthy tones. I'm like, hold on a second. Light gray or cream, however you want to perceive. You don't say the shade. So you better believe that my petty drove around the whole development. There are, I think, like 9,500 homes under this HOA. I drove around and took pictures of every rock that was similar to mine, and I sent them a reply that was about 35 pages with exhibits, with a side-by-side photo. Here's your rock, this is mine. The fact that I was arguing over rocks just blew my mind. So stay tuned for the next steps, because now they're inviting me to do a live presentation on my case of my rocks.
As if she didn't have anything better to do. These HOAs are so petty. She just emailed them everything, 35 pages of information to back up her claims, and now they're like, oh yeah, come present this to us. We need to see this in person. What? Some of the comments say, reasons why I'll never do an HOA when HOA has nothing better to do. I lived in my HOA neighborhood for 3 years. When we moved in, there were no other houses finished around us. We had our DirecTV dish installed and lived quietly, not bothering anyone. Selling the house, got a letter 3 years after putting it up that our tiny dish was in violation. Funny, because the neighbor, when they moved in, became the HOA president and did all this work with no permission. I get a letter for our TV dish? Nope. Told them they could shove it. It's been up 3 years and it's not coming down. And if I'm in violation, he was too, because I never signed off on him redoing his entire backyard without anyone signing off on it. This is just too much. I mean, these are your houses. This is your property. Having to jump through hoops for tiny little things, I just think it's ludicrous.
The only reason I film it is to protect myself, because multiple times when I was here and on the other location, they called the police. And the police...
Other location,
the one that, yeah,
big dam?
Not the dam, but the gazebo.
Yeah, where the gazebo is?
Yes, sir.
I call that the dam site.
Okay. Same location.
Yeah.
And I told them I don't want any problems. I live here. Please leave us alone. I was bothered 4 times by 4 different people yesterday.
Okay.
And I said, hey, I fish here all the time, been over for about 2 years.
So it's hard to hear what the other guy is saying to him, but it's clear that this man is recording himself for protection because he is obviously getting racially profiled by his HOA. This poor guy is just trying to fish. It seems like he likes to fish a lot, and yet he keeps getting the police called on him by his HOA. At this point, I feel like they know that he lives there and they're just trying to push him out. That's just speculation on my part. Some of the comments say, do not stop videos, protect yourself. I get the impression they have secret meetings together, kinda like the Watchers. years. My old HOA had a secret Facebook page, and they had my face pretty much plastered on there, leaving comments about my fishing. These people have nothing better to do. Give these people real jobs. And I don't think anybody here is surprised that HOA is discriminating. I'm certainly not.
Listen to me. If you plan on ever buying a home, do not, I repeat, do not ever get a home with an HOA. I am currently getting sued by my HOA. If you don't know what an HOA is, it's a homeowners association. So when you buy a home, like in a community or whatever, they're the people who like take care of things within the neighborhood. If there's amenities, trash sometimes, lawn services and like that type of thing. I first purchased my home like 5 years ago now. When I first got my home, my HOA started at $200, which was, that's about average. It made sense. My community is very it's real basic, okay? There's no gym, there's no security, there's no gate. They do have a pool, but it's like a community pool. It's not one of those cute, nice pools. It's very I don't even want to swim in it. I have not swam in the pool since I've been there. It's rough, okay? Since then, my HOA rate has gone up to $450 per month. Nothing has changed since the $200 per month. It's just gone up. Apparently, they're just allowed to do that with no rhyme or reason. Inflation, aliens, they can say whatever they want, but the price can just go up and you really have no say. Earlier this year, my HOA decided that they need to waterproof the crawl space under the units. This cost us homeowners an additional $500 per month for 7 months. So the $450 plus $500 plus my mortgage. That's 2 mortgages. So all of a sudden my HOA is now $950 per month. I have all my stuff on auto pay because I ain't trying to remember where my money gotta go. I'm gonna forget. So when the rate changed, my auto pay just stayed, what I had it set at. So I missed the first couple payments. Then I peeped what was going on and I reached out to my HOA yo, I ain't got $950 per month just for my HOA. I ain't got it. I don't have it. And that's crazy. So what do they decide to do? They decide to hire lawyers to basically force me to give them money I don't have. On top of the $950, which I think over the course of 7 months had totaled up to $3,500 total. So now on top of that, they're now also charging me for their lawyer fees, for the lawyers they hired to sue me.
At the time that she made that recording, she owed them $10,000. She was freaking out and saying, I don't have this money. Can we work something out? Can I somehow just pay you for what you originally wanted for the crawl spaces? And they're like, no, and you're going to pay for our lawyer fees. She is in over her head. She's going to end up losing her home. As you'll see in some of the other videos, they can do that. They can sell your home out from under you, and it is not illegal in the US. Some of the comments say $450 a month for HOA. It better come with a free pool in every house. They're pocketing that money. Ask for an itemized printout for the last 3 years of all the fees they collected and what they did with the money. Realtor here. I think that a lot of HOAs are skimming money off the top. I really do. When you have HOAs like this that are super petty, raising these outrageous prices, it's not going to cost an extra $500 a month for each tenant for 7 months. Do the crawl space? That's just ridiculous. It all just seems like a cash grab, and I totally think that so many of them are skimming money off the top. Another comment says, I'm an ATL. Previously worked for an HOA management company. First, you need to ask where the fees are going. Legally, they have to tell you.
A handful of groups held a pray-in for a family on Saturday whose house was sold out from under them by their HOA. Now they're asking the person who bought the house to sell it back. But as Jasmine Arenas reports, it may not be that easy.
Unjust and predatory and racist practices are to be called out.
Monica Villela, a single mom of 4, is holding on to her faith.
We know how important a home is.
After her house in Green Valley Ranch was sold behind her back by her HOA, she bought it for more than $180,000 in 2005. But it was sold to a realtor for $25,000 18 months ago.
I didn't know HOA had the power to do that. I know we had some fines, but they never want to negotiate.
According to Villela, they owed more than $7,000 in HOA fines. That includes leaving the trash can by the curb and landscaping issues.
I knew that I had some fines, and we never stopped making the mortgage payments. I feel that they were targeting us.
The new buyer allowed the family to stay in the home as long as Villela paid him rent. He also offered to sell the property back to her for $28,000. The community rallied and raised the funds. But according to the Community Economic Defense Project, this hasn't worked out.
We actually made an offer to him a month or so ago, directly, personally said, you know, we have the funds, we're willing to sign, tell us when and where, we just want to restore this woman's home back to her. He said he did not want to hear from us.
That's why lawmakers created House Bill 1137 last year to regulate HOAs. Rodriguez says, though, this practice is still happening.
Because currently in Colorado, metro districts and special districts can operate as HOAs, but without any of the regulation. We want to draw a lot of attention to the fact that these abuses, this predation is still happening, and folks have no means of redress.
Villela just wants the home buyer to meet her at the negotiating table and give her her home back.
Well, this is really a nightmare, and I just want justice.
The fact that HOA can put a lien on your house is criminal. There are no words. One comment says $7,000 in fines. And yeah, what was that for leaving their trash can out by the road and then some yard stuff? It probably said her grass wasn't green enough. Some BS like that. One comment says the illusion of homeownership. HOA has more rights than the owner. You can have a paid off house, but if you don't pay taxes 1 year, your house is gone. You don't own it in a mortgage. We are all renters. Most of the people in these comments are just shocked that they're like, how can this happen? And that's because HOA is mostly unregulated everywhere. They're criminals. This is criminal behavior.
I have to figure out how to make $40,000 by summer. Our extremely ableist and weirdly racist, although not applying to us, HOA has decided that they want the entire exterior of our home to look different. And so now we have to come up with the money for it. So I am frantically going to be making things and adding things to my shop to try and make this money. But also, I'm only allowed to make $900 a month, because if I make more than $900 a month, I lose my access to healthcare, and I lose money that I need to pay for my healthcare. So that's great.
It's terrifying that a group of people can come to you and say, hey, we want you to renovate your home. It's going to cost you $40,000. And if you don't do it, we'll put a lien against your house and sell it. Highway robbery. This next video blew my mind. It is such pettiness, and it's over Flowerbeds.
This story is getting a lot of people fired up online. A couple in Texas City being sued by their homeowners association. They could be on the hook for $100,000, all because of a few flower beds.
I like pretty flowers. I like my yard pretty.
We're being dealt with, let us say, unjustly.
So delicate, cause a $100,000 problem. Dottie and Klaus Tadema live in this home in the Lago Mar neighborhood and planted new flower beds a little over a year ago. Instead, they got hit with a lawsuit seeking up to $100,000 in damages, claiming they deliberately disobeyed and ignored HOA rules. The couple paid the HOA $25 for an application to allow the home improvements. The HOA rejected that application in March. So the HOA filed this lawsuit about 6 months later. The HOA is fining them $3,000 for not fixing the violations. The Tademas wish they could speak with the HOA.
I don't want to be sued for this crazy amount of money. I can't afford to hit this stuff.
The first comment says this is a house grab 100%, and absolutely, they're suing these people for $100,000 over some flower beds. I hope that the judge would throw it out, but there are some corrupt judges out there, and then this elderly couple will be out of their home because who can pay $100 grand? Another comment says HOAs need to burn. They are just trying to take their home because they're old. HOA needs to be done with already. HOA needs to go. They are useless and problematic.
I'm being billed $22,000 for a house that I bought exactly 12 months ago. So I live in an HOA and I purchased my home in May of 2024. And in March of 2025, this year, I was made aware that there was going to be a hefty assessment fee that needs to be paid. Apparently, there's major work that needs to be done, and I was told that my portion was going to be $23,000. That amount has been reduced to $22,000. Now, I was originally told that we had till June 1st to make half of the payment, and then the rest would be paid after the work was done. That's when I was notified that no, it's not due June 1st. It's actually due April 30th. At this point, it's like the beginning of April at this point. I went back and forth with my HOA, like, hey, I wasn't made aware of this. Like, what were the notifications like? How were you sending these out? Well, they acknowledged that while the communication was really spotty for it, I should have been notified about the work needing to be done before I purchased the home. I was legitimately just called about this as I was filming this. Anyways, if you live in a townhouse that is in an HOA, then you know you have to approve of the HOA documents before purchasing the home. So how that works is the seller will request the HOA documents from the association, and then the association will provide the HOA documents to the seller, and then the seller provides them to you. You go over those documents to ultimately make the decision of, is this an association that I want to be a part of, or does these rules and regulations just not align with what I want? Long story short, my realtor was sent the documents that stated that there was going to need to be this work done in spring of 2025. She never forwarded those documents to me. When I confronted my realtor about not providing me with the documents, she immediately went into defense mode, calling my house a dump and saying, how could you not tell that this house needed work? And like, let's not get it twisted. My house is not like, it's not perfect, but it's also not in shambles. All the issues that I could see with my house were like things that could be fixed, like paint chipping and whatever. But like, no, from the naked eye, you can absolutely not tell that there needs to be $23,000 worth of work going into it. Which the work costing $23,000 is kind of a stretch too, because guess who we're making our checks out to? We're making our checks out to the president's construction company. Yes, the president of my association, his construction company is the one that we'll be making our checks out to. So it's really a conflict of interest. So do I think that my house really needs $23,000 worth of work? No. But do I have any control over that? No.
Ugh. This is so horrible. That is clearly a conflict of interest. This is clearly a scam. Oh, I feel so bad for this woman. And not only does she have a shady HOA president, she also has a shady realtor. One of the comments says, go for her real estate license. The realtor's response is telling. Who do these people think they are? Heck no, they can't force you to use their company. File a lawsuit against HOA and request an injunction. Just the fact that you even have to think about going through all these steps and jumping through all these hoops to not be robbed blind is so stressful, as if people don't have enough on their plates already.
So my husband checks the mail and he gets a letter in the mail and we read it, and it's from our Homeowners Association. I know, I don't want to hear it about HOAs, but it's our first official notice of violation. So I'm like, okay, and I read on, and it's about our trash containers, right? And it says that they've been left out from the 28th, which is the Monday that the trash goes out, and it was noted on the 30th that they were still there. So I'm like, that doesn't make sense, because we literally take our trash in the same day, if not the very next day. Certainly we don't wait 3 days. So they go and send us a picture proving it, and because I am the way I am, you know, I have to disprove their false so these are both my neighbors' trash cans, and I drew our property line proving that these trash cans are in front of our neighbor's side, not our side. And of course, I write a note saying this photo even shows both of our neighbors' trash cans in front of their property. If a violation notice is going to be sent out, then the person observing said violation needs to be more diligent. We both have 2 blue bins and we have 2 black bins. Please see our attached photos of our surveillance camera proving our statement. Our 6-year-old brain-injured son just recently passed away. On top of grieving the loss of our son, we have been harassed by in-laws. The last thing we need is also to be harassed by our HOA with false reports.
This poor woman, she and her family are grieving and having to handle the stress of navigating HOA bureaucracy. It's infuriating. One comment says, I just received a violation that a U-Haul trailer was parked in our driveway. Yeah, on the day we moved out. I would pay good money to see them read the letter. I'd be sending them an invoice for the paper, ink, postage, and a false claim fee. Doubt they'd pay, but it would make a point. I had our HOA tell us not to park on the street. We don't. And they sent us a picture of our house with no car on the street. This next one is probably the most shocking video of them all. I could not believe what I was watching.
She was arrested and spent a week in jail for what started out as an HOA complaint over her lawn.
The grass isn't always green in Irina Green's yard. thanks to a big tree that you can see in this drone video, and a drought that led the county to impose watering restrictions last year didn't help.
Looks like you got some pieces of sod here.
Green says her yard is far from the worst in Riverview's Creekview subdivision.
If you drive around my neighborhood, you'll see there's plenty of yards that are not up to par.
But so far, she's the only homeowner to actually go to jail for failing to keep her yard up to her HOA standards. It all started with notices from the HOA's management company.
And it went from the grass being ground to, there's a dent in my garage.
Dents too small to see from the road.
That was a part of my court case.
Green was also cited for having a dirty mailbox covered in mildew due to shade and moisture from that same tree.
I would assume you could probably clean that whole mailbox in a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
And for having a cargo van similar to other ones we observed in the neighborhood. The HOA filed a lawsuit against Green in Hillsborough County Court, demanding she correct the violations. She represented herself, preparing handwritten explanations that the HOA and judge rejected.
I remember when this story came out and I watched the full story, and the way the judge hardly heard her out and immediately sided with the HOA's attorney and then threw her in jail for a week made me suspect that there was some kind of kickback program going on, which is just speculation on my part, but it seemed so shady. And once that woman got out of jail, she's still in deep water with the HOA and now at risk of her home being sold out from under her because the fees and the fines and the legal court costs keep stacking up. And this is all somehow perfectly legal. Welcome to the United States of America, where corruption is legal. But let's end on a lighter note.
If I hear one firework,
No.
you know what? We really need to be banning the golf carts. Hello?
Oh, I have a request to make.
I'm sorry, we haven't voted you in the council yet. And I'm not seeing enough posts in the community page. The golf carts are causing problems.
Who even, how do we make decisions?
Me, I am the president. And no, we're not acting like a community. And Michelle, you need to take those tacky, because it's driving me crazy and it's creeping me out. No fireworks whatsoever. We are a community. We are. The kids on the bikes need to go away.
Are we going to update the fence line?
No, we've had these fences for 36 years. We're not updating anything. We're not changing the look of that because this has not become a community. And we're supposed to be putting our complaints and concerns in the community page. And so far, I'm the only one doing that.
That's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that you'll check out one of these two videos on screen or both, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.